Hey guys, this is No Solution. I'm Scott, and we're going to continue to explore my fascination with garbage. And what could be more garbage than tribute albums? And I'm specifically going to talk about the tribute albums from Dwell Records. I don't know how many people would remember this. Dwell was around from like the mid 90s to the early 2000s, based in Los Angeles. They had a few heavy releases to start out of original material, but pretty quickly they put this out, the In Memory of Celtic Frost tribute album. The catalog number is 1006, so their sixth release. Um, Hype sticker on there promising special first time, last time, and one time appearances. Also, bonus tracks and an exclusive appearance by Tom G. Warrior himself. Over 70 minutes of pure tribute. So this came out in 1996. The mainstream had already kind of been going tribute album crazy. I know there was a Leonard Cohen one, there's a Led Zeppelin one, there's Jimi Hendrix one, Kiss one, and then as far as metal goes, Nativity in Black had already come out, the Black Sabbath major label tribute, and then Earache had done one quite a bit earlier, 1992. But there weren't a ton of them, especially for like more of the underground / extreme bands. So I remember seeing this in the store. I was like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. And you look at the back. Now, they spoiled us right out of the gate because listen to this lineup. We got Morgion, Enslaved, Slaughter, the real Slaughter from Canada, obviously. Mayhem, Inner Thought, which was a Dwell band. They're putting it out. They can put their band on it. That's, fair play to them. Sadistic Intent, Cyanide, Divine Eve, Grave, Apollyon's Son, which was Tom Warrior's band at the time. That was kind of a continuation of Celtic Frost. Eventually became Apollyon Son, which was like a techno industrial project. Opeth, and then Close Down, which, whatever, Emperor, and then a band called 13. So a lot of recognizable underground names on this. So, really cool. It's like, oh, I wonder what Opeth playing Circle of the Tyrants would sound like. Got a nice booklet, lots of pages. And as you can see, every band gets their own write-up. Some of them quite lengthy with like a band history, and then it would give information about the recording of the song and when it was recorded. Like, for example, Enslaved, they recorded this as a duo as opposed to a full band. Just, neat stuff like that. You've got Slaughter had reformed, and by the time this came out, they'd broken up again, but they recorded this for that. Mayhem, this is the first appearance outside of like demo tapes of the reunion with Blasphemer on guitar and Maniac back on vocals. So yeah, you can see, really nice package. There's a very long write-up of the band here, which is kind of fucked up because they basically slag them off at the end and talk about how Cold Lake was an embarrassment and everything after that was garbage, which I thought was kind of weird when you've got Tom Warrior on your album and then you have a long essay saying about how he destroyed the band. But so like the only really weak points on this are Close Down, which is like an ambient thing for Dance Macabre. It's just kind of not my thing. I'm not really something I can judge fairly. And then this band 13, which had like some splits and whatnot. It's an all-girl band, like a sludge band from New York. They do Triumph of Death, which is okay. One, they say there's bonus tracks on here. All the tracks are listed. There's 14. There's only 12 tracks on the CD. So the last 3 songs are all lumped together into like a 22-minute chunk. So if you want to get to Emperor's cover of Massacre, the Hellhammer song, you have to fast forward through the 9 minutes and 58 seconds of the ambient Dance Macabre thing. So not very convenient, but I guess they thought a bonus track was cool. Even bonus track's not supposed to be listed, but okay. So yeah, this was the start, and apparently it did really well because very soon after this, all Dwell did was put out tribute albums to anybody you could think of, multiple volumes for people. not only metal, they branched out to like just regular rock bands. And then they would license certain things. Like I know they licensed a Behemoth album, they licensed a Mayhem live album. I think Evoken, they did one. Just smatterings here and there, but they basically became the tribute album label, and they never reached these lofty heights again. I think the next one was Iron Maiden, and that had a pretty impressive lineup as well. But soon we just got down and down and down to, I don't know who any of these people are. If there were like one or two bands you recognize, that was kind of a good one. So I have like 30 of these. A lot of them were sent to me as promos back then. But I kind of love them, even when they're shitty, when they're shitty, sometimes I like them more. So whenever I see them cheap, I pick them up. There are a few I don't have. I've got like 30 some though, and I think I'm only missing like 6 or 7. I know there's like a Scorpions one. There's one for the Clash, which I don't like the Clash, but there's a Ministry one. There's a Rob Zombie one. So it goes all over. I just kind of wanted to show you a few examples here. So this one is from quite a bit later. This is from 2000. Jump in the Pit, tribute to Testament. What I like about these is, like, there's never gonna be a Testament tribute album, and it's just kind of neat. I don't know, but you'll see we went from the nice booklet to it's just a big fold out, and we've got the band picture with like an address, maybe an email address, and then just the tracks listed over here. No like recording information or anything like that anymore. Just kind of getting down to be bare bones. Kind of funny here on the back. They're so desperate to have a name on here. They mentioned that this last song was recorded by James Murphy. Like, okay, like great. He's an engineer and he recorded it as well as being a guitarist. Okay. So this is pretty by the numbers. I took some notes on some of these, but there's really not really even much to say about this other than it's most of them are pretty faithful. On this one, they tend to have more like hardcore-ish kind of guys doing the vocals. A lot of them would do like death metal, like it'd be like, especially I want to do a video about kind of the more mainstream bands like Kiss, where they just had like an all death metal tribute to Kiss, which I think is a bit more interesting than just kind of playing the song straight. But on here, yeah, we've got bands like Fury, Wasteland, Prototype, Scary German Guy, Culp, Horror of Horrors, Catch-22, Blackened, Delusion, and Habeas Corpus. Some of these groups put some stuff out. Some of them only ever appeared on these. Some of them might have one album. Ultimatum is on here. They're definitely the highlight. Scott Waters band, heavy thrash band. They cover Sins of Omission. It's the best cover on here. And Scott does an interesting thing where he kind of does it like in the Zetro style, which instead of Chuck Billy, which I thought was cool. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't recommend this, but I just kind of as an illustration of where we got to. We from heavy hitters all the way down to, oh, I recognize that one band. Another one, I just showed this when I showed Q Records, but Queensryche, Rebellion, a tribute to Queensryche. So again, a lot of bands you've never heard of. Just run down some of the songs. They do Deliverance, Queen of the Reich, Jet City Woman, Thin Line, The Needle Eyes, I Don't Believe in Love, The Lady Wear Black, Take Hold of the Flame, Operation Mindcrime, Eyes of a Stranger, and Someone Else. So this one, I got to give a shout out to my boys Black Earth on here. They cover The Lady Wear Black. As far as I have been able to tell, they are the champions of the Dwell tribute albums. They appeared on 8 of them. So a lot of these bands just, I'm sure Dwell would contact these bands and say, we got these tribute albums coming up. Do you have anything? And some of them would say, oh yeah, I'll do one or a couple. Or Black Earth went all in. They did 8. And they put out a demo, I think a 4-track demo. And then that was it for them. So they mostly live on these. So with Queensryche, the vocals are really going to determine how successful the cover is, and some do better than others. A lot of people do try to go for like a Jeff Tate impersonation, which I can see. Some people go for it and friggin' fail horribly, and it's kind of embarrassing. So there's that. You know, it's kind of a fun listen. I did one thing that stood out for me. The last song, Dark Side is the band. They cover someone else. The last song on Promised Land, and they do like a weird, creepy whisper vocal for the verses with female vocalists singing, but kind of like way in the background. So you got like a creepy vampire whisper with the lady in the background, and then when it goes into the chorus, the vocals turn to death metal. I thought that was a really kind of neat, interesting cover. I would almost rather somebody swing and miss on an interesting cover than just kind of do a by the numbers one, because then why wouldn't I just listen to the original? But why would I own these in the first place? That's a good question too. But there's that one, and then what else is that? Oh, this is kind of an anomaly. So this is tribute to Def Leppard. So this one, I was clicking on the band names on Discogs, and they seem to all lead to the wrong bands, because they all appear to be American bands. And this one, they do give like recording information. They're all, I won't get in close, we'll get in close. Check out that lady in the bikini, because this is my channel after all. Got to keep it nasty a little bit. All of the recordings seem to be done in Fort Lauderdale, most of them at the same studio. So I don't know if they just contacted like all the local bands and said, hey, we're doing a Def Leppard tribute. Come on down. So kind of neat that is like most of them are recorded in the same place. So it kind of gives it like a little more cohesion to the sound, because a lot of these, it's just like they sent the tracks in and there could be varying productions between tracks. Again, this is pretty safe, pretty by the numbers for the most part. Other than, what's the band? Something called Cleaner plays Pour Some Sugar on Me, and they do it like an industrial techno kind of version, which I didn't really like, but okay. They tried something. That's cool. And with this one, yeah, I couldn't find much info on most of these bands. So one little side effect of appearing on a lot of these, like Black Earth, it really brought down like the estimation of the band to me. Like they kind of ghettoized them, because they're like, oh, they're a band that just does these cheap cover albums, which isn't fair. I mean, I'm sure it paid, and if you're looking to record something, you need some extra money, you can knock one of these out quick and get some cash. But just the constant cast of nobodies on here, just if you were in that cast, it made me just kind of think of them that way. And there have been some other, on the later ones, there have been some good bands that did it, like Deceased did a few. Trying to think of some other ones, but they'll come up if I keep doing this. I definitely want to do one about the like death metal covers of non-death metal bands. That I thought those were interesting, but I don't know how much I have to say about these, so there might be 1 or 2 parts, possibly 3. But just thought it was an interesting topic. I'm curious, does anyone remember these? If you were into heavy metal at the time, if you're interested, they're a lot really cheap on Discogs. So thanks a lot for watching, guys, and listening to me ramble about the friggin' stupid nonsense I have. And as always, CM Punk is a piss baby. Later.